to shout to clouds. It's trigger warning!
Hello and welcome to the Trigger Warning Podcast with me, Hayden Hewitt, and Mr. Showbiz himself, Dr. Graeme Booth.
Hello there, you alright?
Yeah, just trying to keep up with what's going on, you know, and
You sound more like an old man trying to keep up.
Well, I am, because there's a new button that's popped up. But it says monetization is currently disabled for streaming. But if I put it in streaming, we could put an advert in the middle of a stream, which I'm not entirely sure there's any benefit to.
I think the fact that our channel is so dodgy, so to catch anyone up, we've just now been monetized, but all of our videos have been demonetized. So they've all just got yellow dollar signs next to him, like every one of them, apart from us talking about Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage one's fine. How they've worked that out, I don't know.
Basically, I can't. We talk off air as we're coming on air, obviously. And Graham's like, "There's little dollar signs. There's little dollar signs, dude. We've done it. We've done it." So I went and checked, and it had come up. And he said, "You got to go and fill a form out. Fill a form out. Get super chat. Get super chats. Fill a form out. Fill a form out." I filled the form out, and then he went, "Oh, yeah, everything's been demonetized." They got us before we started, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They were on it, but at least we've got that now. At least we know we're officially demonetized. Your zombie one's okay. You talking about whacking people around the head? Fine, no problem.
Unreal, isn't it? Unreal. It's just very enjoyable. I think it's quite marvelous that the moment they monetized us, they demonetized us.
Drone Tech has just messaged going, "Fucking YouTube."
Oh, he's been waiting ages, hasn't he?
He has. We're very important people, though, with our 1,000 subscribers.
We're special.
With our only just on the border. We've not got 66,000 like him. That's when you're a time waster.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not doing the business, is he? That's all it is. Not like us. Not like what we does with our regular content that's not monetizable.
Yeah, but you know what we're doing? We're mostly shouting about all those foreign politicians, aren't we? Europe, Theresa May. Google don't care about censoring that. They want to censor criticism of the Democrats, don't they?
That's true.
So that's the difference.
Look at that.
Hey!
£2 from a chicken. Buy some hair gel, Hayden. I'll do that. By the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast, as many people still do, which never ceases to surprise me and amaze me, we do record this live every Tuesday night. There we go. At there I'm with the trigger warning clacker in the video there. At 10:30 p.m. and it goes out live on YouTube as well, so you can join the chat. And we've got super chats now, which makes us super special, which means you get read out for some reason. I've no idea what any of this shit means. I'm like Generation X. I'm still analog in the digital world, but I am going to say hello to some of our viewers. We got Smoke Steve, Chappie, Bob Stew, Neffers, Alan, Mr. Kill, C1, hello dude. And other people who've slipped off my screen, and I am terribly sorry. And of course, A Chicken, who just donated £2 to tell me to buy some hair gel. So that donation then goes straight into the Google account, doesn't it? That I've had like £20 locked in for 7 years.
More money that I'll never see. Graeme, I bought some more code. It's okay, cool.
Well, we have to buy code at the minute. I think we'll just talk a little bit. Oh, is Natalie in as well? Sorry, I didn't see her on my screen. So hello, Natalie. How you doing? Oh.
I heard a Minecraft. She's obsessed with Minecraft videos at the moment, and the second I heard that, there are so many. I'm just like,
get it
out. We're monetized now, family friendly. That doesn't mean you're welcome.
Oh yeah, very family friendly. Denied. Anyway, We've been chatting. Well, I've been chatting mostly to myself because this is how it usually happens on Trigger Warning. But I am getting better. The social script that we had, the coder for that, has just vanished into the ether. So I was relying on a third party, and I wasn't happy. And I didn't like logging in here for one thing, logging in there for another thing, and it didn't fit with what we wanted for the Trigger Warning community. So today, I phoned Graeme, very unusually for me, and said, Graeme, I'm just tearing it all down. All of it. And he said, when are you thinking of doing that? I went, soon, which usually means already have. But what we're doing, it's going to take a while to build this out. It's going to be the Trigger Warning website with all our content on, pages for all the different shows. More articles, because we're doing the Sinister Trumpet soon as well, because I haven't got enough to do in life. But there's going to be more. We're building the social aspect into the site, so, you know, your walls, your friends, and all that kind of thing, photo sharing. All those things will be built into Trigger Warning with a single login. We'll also put a forum in there, because I'm still a big fan of forums, all integrated. Now, there's a handful of people who still use the legacy forum we've got on there. They can have that forever. Good luck to them. They can enjoy that forever. I'll just update it when an update comes out. On top of that, I don't know if any of you guys have been to WordPress.com. You can make your own blog. Graeme doesn't know about this bit yet. This is gonna take me a while to get right, but you'll be able to be a member of Trigger Warning, and initially we'll have to do it for you. I'm not going to automate this, but if you want to have a blog of your own, you can spawn one off Trigger Warning. So, for example, you would have neffers.triggerwarning.tv, and that would be your blog, and it worked like every other WordPress blog. But we might be able to offer down the line the feature of using your own domain name on your blog that's on the Trigger Warning network, which we'll link to from the main site to hopefully push more people your way and vice versa. And my plan is to build a place for the community to use and hang out and keep in touch with everything we're doing. And of course, there's one other thing we've got to do, which is all these outside payment processes. We're always going to have to use PayPal, but we want to bring the subscription model into the site away from Patreon, so we're not worried about them doing to us what YouTube have just half done to us as well. And that also means we can build stuff in. So if we offer perks for subscriptions, we can build it into the site. So that's what I started doing today. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, because it's a ridiculous job for me, but I think it's going to be really cool. And then at some point, we'll move that to a slightly more expensive offshore host, so we don't even have to worry about getting shut down too much until they do it at the domain level.
That's the idea, isn't it? It's free speech. You want to write a blog about something, as long as you're not breaking the law or doxing or anything like that, then we're good.
That's the plan. So it gives the community not only somewhere to hang out, but also to do something with. You know, and you know it's not WordPress. So if you're just critical of a religion or critical of a political movement, you won't lose your account. Yeah,
WordPress used to be amazing, but they're clamping down now.
They can't help it.
Even slight things, not like major, not like Daily Stormer knockoffs, but just being even slightly gender critical, and it's like done, gone. You know, it's like.
Well, User A Chicken's got an answer. Do the blogs generate ad revenue? At the outset, no, nothing will generate any revenue. If there's enough traffic, we'll try and work with some advertisers. Remember, advertising is what makes running websites very hard now. But if so, I'm sure there'll be a way of working out which blogs generate revenue, which don't, and passing it on to the people that run them. I'm sure there'll be a way. It's just...
But that's the way down the line when we've got a lot more traffic. Like right now, we're running off donations, and that means because it's paid for by the audience, there's no ads on the site, which means there's no one to pull it out from under us. Should we say something that people don't agree with? You know.
But we will look at it all. We'll look at every option that we've got, because it'd be really great if people did have a successful blog to be able to get something out of it.
If people sponsor Ben Shapiro, the world's most notorious Nazi, then surely we'd be eligible at some point once the traffic got up.
Nat Lynch just donated £2. Thank you, Nat. The alert will come up shortly when it works its way through Streamlabs there. Thank you very much. There we go. There we go. I'm
Oh,
shaking
I
the
feel like
clacker.
such a whore. I feel like
do.
such a whore.
But the thing is, you know, guys, genuinely, it's going to build something really cool where we can all hang out. And, you know, the only thing we can't do is video hosting, but shit, there's YouTube and Live Leak for that, you know. We can self-host, but we can't open it up to everyone, unfortunately, because that's really expensive.
It'd get out of hand really quickly, wouldn't it?
But again, who knows what can happen down the line? Who knows what can happen down the line? It's open, guys. We can do anything, you know, until we get shut down. Maybe if YouTube hadn't demonetized every single one of our videos.
Well, no. There's that Nigel Farage one. That's still all right. And one of our podcasts, the one where we say we hit 1,000 subs, that is currently monetized. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because videos don't get watched after a week or two anyway. So it's not going to matter. All the ones that are currently being watched.
I've got to remember where this is now. I'm trying to find this monetization for live streams, but I've got no idea where it is.
Oh, let's not worry about it right now. Oh, God, it'd be so funny if they did that Jess Phillips one. Do you know, I read today, actually, that they're going to make a drama based on Jess Phillips, a BBC drama.
Oh, I won't be watching that. I don't think I could be asked with that. I don't even watch the real Jess Phillips.
I know, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? That they're bringing her in on all these like softball interviews and fluffing her up, and now it's like, and now it comes out that we're going to make a little drama about you, fucking prick. Which, by the way, do you remember what that thing you did about Islamophobia?
Yeah.
The new definition of it, which was off the top of my head, it was like Muslimness and expressions of Muslimness, or expressions of Islam, or something. I can't remember what it was exactly. But the expressions of part was the shaky bit. Well, you know, Jess Phillips went down to that Birmingham LGBT protest for the schools.
Right.
All the Muslim.
Gosh, yes.
The Muslim guy literally standing there saying, it's not, and this is you know, almost a direct quote. He said, "It's not that you're just telling people that gay people exist. It's that you told the kids that they could be gay and Muslim." That's what they've got an issue with. They had standing there directly and saying, "How dare you say that you can be gay and Muslim?" And she's gone down there in person. I'm like, so by Labour's own adopted version of Islamophobia, Jess Phillips is an Islamophobe. Because she went down there and had a go at them for their expressions of Muslimness, which tickled me. Obviously, it hasn't been reported that way, but that's exactly that. This is the issue with floppy definitions like that. Because whereas she's now a hero at the moment, that exact same definition will be used to vilify someone else, and it's like no, but. You need legal definitions that have consistency, that are absolute, which is why we draw the line at physical actions, which is why we came up with the concept of free speech in the first place. You know, it was the only solution. I don't know.
Slightly. That this is probably going to be a really bad one to segue into. Sorry, Alex has just said, oh shit, forgot all about it.
Don't you worry about it, mate. You were here on Sunday as well. I was ever so lonely.
Oh, mate, I'm so sorry I couldn't do Sunday for you. I meant to be there, but
it was quite an intense one.
I couldn't do it. I really wanted to do it. I was there at the start.
Yeah.
And then it just... I got called away to do something else. So
there weren't no like fun little 5-minute clips from that one. It was like 20 to 30-minute like hardcore in-depth takes that people have been really slacking me off for. Really,
well, I need to get back and get on my little stream so I can just do nothing but hot takes with no in-depth knowledge whatsoever. That'd be a good screen cap. I just did the OK gesture with my hand.
Do you know what? It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because they keep talking about it, and I always used to do it. There was a guy I worked with once. I've told you this before. When you when he was given a task or given a job, he'd always go like that, like really, really firmly, like it was a thing. And I adored the way he did that so much that I just stole it off him, and I'd always go yeah like that. And so I'm really used to doing that. As they're like, yeah, I'm on it. And then this whole thing happened where some people decided to pretend it was racist, and then racist left-wingers went, well, it is racist though, isn't it? And then everyone else carried on doing it. I can't stop doing it now. I do it even more because I'm not going to let the race say it is. Say that racists do use it. Worst case, say the hoax is bullshit, or that what they said is true, right? And that it was a hoax, but it's not anymore because look what that shooter did it. The shooter did it, so it is. Say that is true, okay? I'm still not going to give power to the racist by not doing it. I'm not gonna just allow the nasty people to just take something from me. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, you're like the guy in was it Clerks 2 then, aren't you?
Why, I don't remember that. What did he do?
I'm taking it back.
Taking it back.
I do it usually when I'm talking about something, involving precision.
Yeah.
So it's something precise to punctuate something.
That's also completely valid.
Of course it is. Anything I do, everything I do is correct and valid.
Everyone in the chat is talking about the hashtag. They've got a hashtag. That's the new hoax, which they're already jumping on.
Hashtag.
All the rags are doing the same thing. BuzzFeed and all that. They're all saying the latest hoax is, but all they're doing is advertising it as something to trigger people. Just imagine that. Imagine the hashtag because it's Heil Hitler.
Oh, I did see something about that, but I scrolled right past it because I thought, oh bollocks. Hashtag is racist. Oh my days.
It's so ridiculous. But the thing is, it's the same thing again. Old media is dying. Vox, BuzzFeed, CNN's just announced more layoffs. They are so desperate that they will just print any old shite, even though they know it's bollocks. They know it's bollocks. They know they're lying.
Oh God, I hate BuzzFeed. Why did you have to mention BuzzFeed? Just big ball of worms and AIDS, as I said in last week's show.
I know.
They're the worst of the worst. What did they put a story out? Because I had to phone you, didn't I? A BuzzFeed story popped up. 3 far-right figures lose in Euro elections. And, of course, it was Sargon of Akkad, the well-known far-right figure who always fights with Nazis. Tommy Robinson, whose rallies are usually have Jewish people there, so he's not really good at the far-right thing. And, of course, Count Dankula, who is most assuredly not far-right. But the best part of it was they hadn't even called the Scottish one yet. They just decided right there, and I'm sure they were right. I don't know how he did in the end. My interest in the Euro elections is tenuous at best. But BuzzFeed, they're awful. I detest them. I absolutely fucking hate them. So you had to bring them up and just hurt me in a bad way. BuzzFeed. They can't last forever, can they? Hopefully they'll be dragged back down to just posting shit quizzes on Facebook to harvest your personal information.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine they will exist for a long, long time, but it might just become one of these shell, like AOL or Yahoo or something, with these crappy aggregators, essentially. I imagine it's going to go that way because you can't keep paying people 6 figures to pump out that kind of shite. And that's the thing, like less and less people are falling for it. Like that phrase, that loaded phrase, far right, which there is no clear definition for. It is just code.
But there used to be one. I mean, we did a video on this, didn't we? But there used to be one, and it was a full-blown fucking fascist Nazi who hated Jews, hated black people, had rallies to stamp them out of the country. They were violent. That was the far right.
Yeah. I mean, even that definition isn't accurate, but at least we all understood that concept.
Well, accurate. No, that's what it was, wasn't it? That was our identifier.
Yeah, it was the common thing. But now it is just code for anyone you're not supposed to like, regardless of the politics, regardless of the thing. And I think Farage throwing UKIP under the bus the way he did in the EU elections is like, yeah, it's a shitty thing to do to UKIP, but what he's actually done is rebrand, because it's still the same UKIP message.
Oh yeah.
But he's managed to shake off most of the far right thing. Most of that, like, did you see that the speech gave by that Labour winner in Birmingham? I can't remember her name now, but the woman that won the MEP for Labour was giving a speech, and she talked about the Brexit Party and called them fascists and racists, and the crowd went mad. And whereas, like, a couple of years ago, you would have got away with that. Everyone would have gone, oh, well, because it would have been UKIP, and everyone would have gone, oh, yeah, of course, yeah, UKIP, fascists and racists, which they're obviously not. But the crowd went mental and started shouting shit. And it's funny because it's been reported as Labour MEP has "go home" shouted at her during her acceptance speech. And you know, because obviously she's dark skinned, so even now they're trying, but less and less people are falling for it. Because if you watch the video of the people in the crowd shouting, "Fuck you, how dare you call us that?" you can just hear one person going, "Go home," like that, and it could mean fuck off home, as in get out of here. You know, it could mean anything. But ultimately, the context of it is a lot of people who are very, very angry because how dare you characterize us as racist and fascists? You know, I say us as in them. I'm not part of the Brexit Party. But yeah, more and more people are realizing far right. I mean, fascist. What does fascist even mean at the moment? It's completely run out of meaning.
I have no idea, but you know what? I've just played with that super chat button. I don't like that.
What have you been doing to it?
No, it goes £2, £5, £10. They all change colour. £50, £100, £500. Do you know there's nothing in this world I want to tell someone enough that I would pay £500 to send it.
Well, you know, it might happen. We'll get PewDiePie in the stream. There you go. He does that, doesn't he? He goes around just dropping crazy amounts of cash on people.
Oh yeah, but not on us.
I can't imagine he's going to join us.
No.
He wouldn't want this, so he wouldn't want it getting out. He wouldn't want it, like, you know, well, during a discussion about far right policies and the Brexit Party's approach to fascism, PewDiePie donated. That's what it'd be written as. All the context would be jumbled up to make him seem evil.
Absolutely. I think we're going to move off the Nazis just for a minute. Let's move off the Nazis and onto the Tories. Let's do that. Because it looks like, obviously, Theresa May handed in her papers.
Yeah.
She handed in a notice. It's time for her to go. And it looks very much, according to the polls, that we could end up with Prime Minister Boris Johnson, which we've been campaigning for relentlessly for months and months and months and months, because that would be wonderful, right? What could be better than that?
Campaigning for?
Yes. Don't shit on my chips here. We got monetization now. Let's sound like we're serious. Okay?
Right, okay.
Well, come on, big boy pants now. So we're going to get Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. We've got Donald Trump as President of the United States. We could end up with Nigel Farage as Kingmaker. The planets are aligning into the most delicious lulls we've seen for years. But of course, one thing is that all the people standing up to become leaders said they're going to renegotiate with the EU. We're going to renegotiate. We're going to renegotiate. We're going to renegotiate. Well, everyone's favourite drunkard, Jean-Claude Juncker, has literally just dismissed that out of hand.
Yeah, of course.
And he's just said, let's find his quote here. "I was crystal clear. There will be no renegotiation." Now, of course he's going to say that. What was more interesting is the guy that's trying to get his job now has come out and said, it's our fault that Britain are leaving, you know. I've forgotten the chap's name, but it's one of the guys that's in the frame for taking over from Junkers when Junkers wants to go back to drinking full-time. He said it's our fault. It's the EU's fault. We should have given the UK the concessions Cameron was asking for, because they really weren't all that much. It was really nothing spectacular he was looking for, but our pride made us say, no, you've had enough.
That was the moment, was it? That was the moment.
Oh, that was it. That was it, because Tony Blair handed a shitload over just as he left anyway, didn't he?
Yeah. There was a lot signed and a lot okayed. Too much. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I also believe them when they say they're not going to renegotiate, but that is why at the moment WTO, or at least the threat of WTO, is quite literally the only way forward from our point of view, because they you know, they're not going to lose face and renegotiate, but we can. The only thing we've got in play right now is running out the clock and defaulting to WTO. That's the only thing. You know, so ultimately that might be what happens. But what do we do about the part of the country who will not, you know, as Farage keeps putting it, will not consent to losing? What about the part of the country who, for them, WTO is the worst thing that could ever happen?
I think it's the best thing that could ever happen. I've said, sorry, I've said the best part of that half of that's yours. And you should have done 10 quid. If it's any consolation, though, it just comes out of my bank account, that, so it's okay.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, I think I did well though. I've just tipped us £2 on Super Chats. That's £6 we've had tonight.
Graeme carries sweeties and puppies with him. There we go. I've read it out.
Yeah, we go.
That's the promise, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the promise.
It's quite good that Super Chats have come when they have, actually, because it was just getting to the point where keeping an eye on the chat was too much. You know, you just couldn't physically read it all out. So at least there is a way, you know, even if it's just 50p or a quid, that you could actually just, you know, if you've got a really good point, it is going to get.
But doesn't it go by the length of the message as well, though?
What do you mean?
I'm sure if you type a really long message, it blanks out the cheaper options.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
We'll have to look into it. This is not the time. It's that play ad button that's driving me mad, because what a great way of losing viewers. Just play a YouTube ad in the middle of your live stream.
Please don't do that. I mean, unless we were going to go on a toilet break or something, that, you know, after an hour or two, that'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Just be like, going for a wee.
Well, hopefully, once we get everything done, donations go up. Tuesday nights will start earlier, won't they?
Yes.
Down at the studio, so.
Yeah, you know, I mean, our Patreon's reading 35% towards the Tuesdays at the studio, isn't it? But, you know, once you take in the other stuff as well, I mean, maybe we're about 40, something like that. I don't know. So, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close to it. And to be honest, if Super Chat picks up, then we won't have any choice. We'll have to. We've got to.
Yeah.
Because we'll be like, guys, this is enough now. But it is that thing, isn't it? Because us meeting up at 10:30 in the evening is doable around work and other commitments.
Yes.
But the studio is a full actual thing where
the studio's just a ball of stress, isn't it?
Yeah. But it does mean that day we won't be getting paid work. So it's not like, I mean, you know, we do as much as we possibly can, you know, within where we are right now, you know, because we're not like sort of just sitting on a vast fortune that we can just sort of lounge around streaming all day. There is real life happening and all the rest of it. But I want to know, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Do you know that the Socialists and Democrats, the Progressive Alliance, this is the first time since the EU's formed that they've not been the biggest party?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like everything, isn't it? And we've spoken about this quite a few times. Society always does this. Swings to one side, they demonise the other side, so there's a pushback, and it swings back again. And we're swinging slowly back towards the centre, and we'll go a little bit to the right in terms of conservatism at least, and then it'll swing back the other way, and it goes onwards and onwards. But in some ways, it comes at a good time for us because we might get out of the EU now. So that would be nice.
But I think if we didn't get out the EU, I think if it all did go tits up, because there's a good chance of that as well. I think that the fact that the far left are no longer in absolute control of Europe might, for the first time ever, might actually mean that the Europe that goes on is a better Europe, is a better EU.
Possibly. I am still... People talk about Britain and fascism. The hotbed for fascism obviously tends to be mainland Europe. And the right-leaning parties there are far more extreme than our right-leaning parties here. Look at Italy, look at France, Germany. And as a chappie's just said in the chat, and it's true, as they rise, the left will become more violent.
Yeah, it's already happening.
At the moment, the left is far more violent than the right currently. Historically, perhaps not so much, but currently, because it's going so far left that we are walking into fascism territory, authoritarian. When people have authoritarian beliefs and are so convinced they are in the right, violence is inevitable. Because when you won't listen to them and you won't be convinced by them that they're right, well, by God, they're going to force you. I'm going to punch you right. I'm going to knock the right into you, and that's what we're going to see more and more of, and then there'll be a pushback against that.
Well, I see a lot of brainwashing amongst the far left, and because obviously so many journalists are just, radical communists and activists and stuff. They're bleeding it into the mainstream left and the mainstream centre right as well. And it's this word genocide. I just hear genocide come up all the time.
Genocide's a very popular word. We hear it all the time with regards to Israel, don't we? And the genocide of the Palestinian people.
And it constantly happens.
Not to take away from the horrors of Gaza, you do have to ask yourself, how shit are you at genocide if you've been doing it for 30, 40, 50 years, and there's more of them than when you started?
Yeah.
That means you're not very good. But it's used for everything now. Everything's a genocide.
The same people that don't want to look at the facts on the ground with Gaza are the same people who think that Nigel Farage wants genocide.
Oh, yeah. It's like the people, if you talk about the South African farmers, and I remember that happening, I think it was Zimbabwe, when it was Rhodesia. And I've seen the photos of what they were doing to people there, and it was a systematic execution of white people. And we're seeing it in South Africa with, forcible land grabs and murder if you don't leave. Yeah. And that is actually genocide, because they're slaughtering the men, the women, the children. I don't mean dropping a bomb on an house and it killing the people next door. They're going in and hacking them to fucking pieces. But we don't call it that. We gloss over it. Our news cycle won't touch it, to the point where people don't believe it's actually happening. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And some people say, well, it's just payback. That is it? Is that how it works now? So in another couple of generations, if the Boers go back in and slaughter a load of black people, is that payback again for the payback? This sort of shit's ridiculous. Everyone's playing favourites and throwing that word around where it doesn't need to be and not using it where it does. Yeah.
But the reason, to bring it back to the UK and Europe and America and Canada, obviously, as well, the reason they keep using that word is because that then justifies the violence. And it's not just milkshakes.
No.
It's attacking people. It's beating the living shit out of people. It's setting fire to the cars right next to the house whilst they're asleep in bed. It's slashing the tires. It's mass intimidation and harassment. And, like we said the other day, Breitbart keeps that list of people who've been attacked for wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
And it's like they're wearing a MAGA hat. And then, but to them, they've got that word, genocide. I must stop the genocide. I'm going to attack him, or her, or even the old man.
Of all the claims you can put against Donald Trump, and there are many.
Yeah.
Genocidal maniac is probably not one of them, if I'm honest. No.
I would agree with that. Yes.
No, I think you've got to draw the line somewhere. You have to stop this nonsense and speak the truth. He's not genocidal. He's just
I was
a
talking
liar.
to I talked to a what they call the default liberal. You know, they're not that politically engaged, but you know, she's American, lesbian, super progressive, super like essentially she cares a lot about. She wants to make sure people are all right. She looks after people, so she's a default liberal. Loved Obama and genuinely assumes that Trump actually hates her because she's a lesbian. Like, because she only watches MSNBC or no, she doesn't even watch MSNBC. She just sees the odd MSNBC headline as she's scrolling Facebook, and that's all she's got, you know. And I had a bit of a chat with her a few weeks ago. I think I told you about it, where I was talking about the White House's current endeavor to decriminalize homosexuality throughout the planet. You know, I mean, it might just be a show, and people say there's various reasons for him doing it. But I was like, "What do you know about this?" And she didn't have a clue. And I was like, "Well, what about the prison reform, releasing all these non-violent prisoners, trying to undo the damage that Clinton did in the 90s?" Didn't know anything about it. And then I spoke to her yesterday again after a few, you know, I think it's about a month, 6 weeks, something like that. And she was telling me how awful Obama was. I was like, oh my God.
Well, just in chat there, I noticed Drone Tech was saying about, you know, because I said Trump's a liar, and he said he's no more a liar than anybody else. Probably isn't, but they didn't tweet it. They didn't mushmouth it. They didn't do this, that, the other. So you know, you're gonna have to take some lumps on the guy, Drone. He's a terrible person, but, and this is really important. This is hugely important. To assume that he achieves nothing good is patently ridiculous. It's like saying Obama achieved everything he did was terrible and evil, which is a nonsense. Same with Trump. Because you dislike the man, you assume everything they do is evil, and that's not the case. That's not how the world works.
Exactly, yeah.
Drone Text just said, what did he tweet? I missed that. Dude, oh, stop it. Go and verify it, mate. It's constant bollocks. Windmills give you cancer.
What about the argument that Donald Trump is the most honest president that the United States has ever had? What about that argument? For all his bullshit, for all
No, I think honest is the wrong word. Honest is the wrong word. Candid is the correct word.
But you know, what about like because you know, if you look at Theresa May talking and she goes into that robotic, you know,
yeah, she's not candid. He's candid. Whether it's truth, bullshit, something he's made up while he was just stood up there, or words that no one's heard before, he just says it.
Or just regurgitating some point that he half watched on Fox News.
He half understood on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
But you see, to me that's fine, because all politicians are complete and utter arseholes. Some hide it better than others, some do it in different means. But Trump's given us so much joy to talk about.
Yeah.
Much as I dislike the man, and I genuinely do dislike the man when I look at his history in business and what he's like with people, to me that's an odious human being. But I'm tired of people going, well, this other guy's bad. Or this. I'm not talking about them. I'm sure they're shithouses as well. But if I'm talking about Trump, that's what I'm talking about. Don't do whataboutery with me, because I just discard anything you've got to fucking say. You know, we can talk about Hillary being an absolutely dreadful woman, about Bill Clinton bringing in ridiculously draconian laws. You know, we can talk about George W. Bush, who for some reason only learned to speak after he was president. But none of that matters, because we're just dealing with the person at the time.
I wish Hillary had come back. I do. I miss her. I wish she was a bit more active. Like, even the very rare times that she really comes out and speaks public now, it's always such a car crash that it's amazing. But at least we've got Cortez.
I'm going to get angry. Drone Tech said, whataboutism is yet another word the left dreamed up to avoid dealing with their hypocrisy and consistency. Drone Tech, you've got to stop looking for facts only on the side you choose. Whataboutery came from Russia. It's a Russian technique of deflection that has been going on Since long before Trump came into office, it's been picking up steam over the last 8 to 10 years online, more and more and more. It's always happened, but they perfected it. And Drone Tech's going, yeah, because he hasn't researched it, but I have. Dude. And we're monetized.
Isn't the problem with Russia that it is far left, though? Isn't that the issue with Russia?
Yeah. Putin's definitely very liberal. Russia is not leftist.
No, I didn't say far. I didn't say liberal. I didn't.
No, I know they're
liberal.
not leftist.
Oh, here
They're
we go.
not
Here we go. Having a go at Drone Tech, and then you go and putting words in my mouth.
You said left. You didn't say leftist.
I said left. Yeah, I said far left.
Are
That's the whole
they?
point.
Are they really anymore? It's massively capitalistic. They're not even close to being a socialist nation anymore. So no, not really.
Well, no, but
They were. They were.
Their current thing is born out of the cancer that was socialism, and all of the and Putin grew up. That's how he came up through all that stuff.
But you and I both know Drone Tech means the leftist beard farming pussies on Twitter, and you and I both know that. So yes, we can go back to when Russia was a socialist country.
It's just funny.
And we can do that.
You're going to reply to him by saying it's left by going, no, it's from Russia. It's like, oh
yeah,
my
because
God.
We know what he means. You're just being a pedantic arsehole thinking you can win one. I'm telling you can't, because it doesn't come from the left that he concerns himself with, and you well know that. I'm going to take your super chats off you. By the way, Drone Tech, you weren't listening earlier on. Don't feel bad because we got monetized, because they just took it all away from us straight away. So don't you worry about it.
It's all been yellowed. But let's be honest. We're just dirty little whores that are here for the only way we're going to survive is super chats, isn't it? So I am genuinely thankful that YouTube has okayed some super chats.
I just don't understand why anyone would pay us to make us read shit out. But if that's what they want to do, I'm here for them. I'm here for them. The left equals Marxist, commies, and socialists, possibly. Okay.
Well, it's just he's just clarifying what he meant after you finished telling him what he meant.
I know what he meant. I know what he meant, because we know Drone exists in that world where he hangs around CNN and MSNBC on Twitter going, no, you lie. But Drone has to, because there's not enough of that. There's plenty of people screaming at Fox News. Why not a few people that can actually string a sentence together really well going after CNN? It adds balance. And I love him for it.
Yeah. As fun as it is winding you up about it, like, with Drone Tech sometimes, especially his tweets, I'm just like, whoa, that's very partisan there. But you're right.
Why shouldn't he be?
The world needs his voice. The world needs that perspective, because they are so full of shit, and they're not just lying, but it's a cabal. They're all protecting each other with the lies. The Covington scandal was a fantastic example of that. They're all sharing the same video. They're all getting celebrities to make these compilation videos of how bad it is that Trump's America is so racist, that this poor native, was being abused by all these MAGA boys. And it's like, they all lied. They all directly lied. It took less than 24 hours to fact check that. And fucking Fox didn't even cover it for 3 days. They didn't even cover it. Because the right's best weapon at the moment is accurate reporting. It's just,
look at Breitbart.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It pains me to say it. They've really been on top of their shit. Don't get me wrong. I don't hold them up as a beacon of absolute accuracy and truthfulness. However, they've if you look through the last few months' articles, they've really been pulling their shit together. But you're not allowed to say that, because the minute you bring up a Breitbart article and say, well, look at this, go Breitbart. Because that's the problem we've got. Being partisan is great, but when you automatically dismiss anything the other side says, you don't end up terribly well informed. Yeah.
Well, oh god, it's the domination of social media. I saw that guy, Omad, what's his name? Omad Jalili. Yeah, like I saw him. Someone tweeted. He tweeted a joke about Nigel Farage. He said about Nigel Farage going to war against the liberal elite, and he's described that as being like cancer, saying it's working to find a cure for cancer by giving everyone it meets cancer. And I just thought, right, okay, well that's quite, but that's acceptable discourse, isn't it? You can call that man cancer and say that he's spreading a deadly disease. If somebody on the right made that same joke, you'd be like, oh, why? How dare you characterize someone as a disease and blah blah blah? And what about victims of cancer? And then they'd wheel someone whose 2 kids have just died from cancer out and go, I don't really like that joke. It's terrible. But Omad makes it, and because it's against Nigel Farage, everyone's going,
it's acceptable, yeah. He's perfectly fine.
But then it gets even better. Someone replied with, Nigel Farage is like an uncle who promises the world, but when you follow him, it leads to a basement where you get bummed. That is a joke about rape, Hayden. A rape tweet.
Well, I don't hold with such things, as you know. I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, Omad replied to that tweet with bravo. I saw him the other day slagging off Carl Benjamin about his rape tweet, and it's like describing UKIP as a pro-rape party. These people are insane, and they are so insanely partisan and insanely hypocritical, and the double standards are so ridiculous. I think Omad should be able to like make rape jokes. I think anyone should. But that is why, to bring it back to the point, that is why someone like Drone Tech needs to exist, because he is brutally and viciously exposing the hypocrisy at a relentless level.
Yeah, but I think Drone Tech is probably a Bernie Sanders voter.
Oh,
I think he's just pulling an Alex Jones. He's seen where the audience is and thought, I'm going to have that. So yeah, he's all you know, like GOP all the way, dude. Yeah. And as soon as he's off, he's like, you know, I support social health care and medicines. And, you know, that's why he pretended his mic was broke when I gave the fucking terrible lecture on his show, on what I'm sure will be the last time he'll ever have me on. He pretended
his mic was broke. But what was actually happening was the light of socialism finally cracked in the sky, and he was there bathing in it, just frozen as your words filled his ears, and you were like, socialized messages.
And now he's gonna vote Bernie. Old white man said you are the most vile scum on YouTube, racist pigs. Oh, your troll account's turned up, dude.
Oh, it's the troll account, mate. Try harder. And why don't you put it in a super chat? It'll definitely annoy me if you do that. Yeah,
definitely put at least 10, 15 quid on that one. We'll read more of his stuff out. Just as a note, by the way, old white man, I've started nearly every show for the last 2 years calling Graeme either a racist or a paedophile. You're not bringing anything new to the party. I look like a gnome, Graeme. A gnome.
Wait, why can't I see this white man thing? Why can't I see the comment? Was it a while ago?
No.
It's not on my screen. It's not on my screen.
Are you on top chat or live chat?
Oh, I'm on top chat. Why would it default to that? I want to see everything. Motherfuckers, there's loads of stuff here.
Yeah, you missed it, dude.
Oh, so all the swearing, it's been protecting me from it.
Yes. Good evening, Patrick. By the way, glad you could join us, and Bob's in as well.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Even more of a reason to drop us a super chat. So, dude, I just want to go over it quickly before we move on. Is there anything else on the EU elections then that's caught you? What's your takeaway from it?
My take is everyone's, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of Tommy Robinson, to say the least. A long way from it. I don't buy into all this Nazi bullshit. Whatever. I do find him to be someone I wouldn't be comfortable being around terribly. I don't know. Maybe over a pint it'd be all right, you know, but nothing further. But everyone's mocking him for losing his deposit. He only got, what was it, 38,000 votes, something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
And everyone's laughing, but don't they realise that he's been the most popular independent candidate ever?
Yeah, by a huge margin, huge. For an independent has never won an MEP seat in this country. So for Tommy Robinson to get 38,000 votes is insanity.
I think that should concern a lot of people more than it should amuse them.
Yeah, it's up there with the likes of Change UK and UKIP in terms of the numbers they were getting. You know, so it's like you can laugh at that one man. I mean, obviously he's got a team, but he isn't affiliated with a party.
Change UK are all ex-Labour with massive. They've got funding, they've got advertising, they've got access to social media.
They're not being censored by their own government.
Yeah, I think you should be much more concerned about how well Yaxley Robinson, Tommy Stephen did. Real name Stephen.
Yeah.
You have to do that. It's a media contract. I read a story about him when it did it, and it said it on the second paragraph. Real name, we know.
Because no one knows. Because nobody knows by now. Jesus Christ.
Old white man, why aren't you telling people Tommy Robinson's past actions? Do you know I did all that, and as a result of doing all that, he came on one of our shows to talk to us. I've covered him in depth ad infinitum. I'm not going to do it every week to please people. I couldn't really give two shits about the man or what he did in the past. He's just another... He was, at least, just another fucking thug.
Yeah, well, there's a what's his name? There's a huge politician, a member of the cabinet, who's been done for mortgage fraud. Everyone puts that, but here's the thing about Tommy. You know, like all the people that hate him always go, oh well, you know, mortgage fraud, common assault, which is the same level as throwing a milkshake. So you know, and then there's the thing about the actual assault, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was something to do with him getting in a fight with a Nazi, and then I don't know what happened. Apparently, he hit a policeman. I can't remember. I don't know. But the point is that is not the point. That if you hate Tommy Robinson, then you go, oh, all those things happened. Yeah,
of course.
But the people that like him don't give a fuck about that. The people like him care about what he's talking about, not where he's come from.
Well, I can't go over his past over and on, but Drone Tech has just said he's more than a thug. Why? Thugs don't necessarily have to be fucking stupid or ill-educated or just out robbing old ladies all the time. You know, he is a certain type of person. Whatever he's carried on from that is neither here nor there. I stand by my words 100%. It doesn't mean he's the most evil man on earth, even though we've used the Amazon scale to judge he is worse than Hitler. But he's not. You know, he's just, you know, someone that says things a lot of people like.
But the interesting thing for him now, though, is he's going to have data. He's going to have real data of who voted for him in high numbers and where. Mm-hmm. And in terms of local elections, in terms of MP, I think MP's probably... The thing is, right, he could probably find an area where he could win now on the back of this. He could probably say, right, that's our best hope. We'll pour all our money and effort into that area. It's certainly not going to be Manchester, of course not. But, you know, somewhere in the northwest.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that wherever he went, it would destroy him. They would destroy him. They wouldn't let it happen. They can't. It'd be too humiliating because they've told so many lies about him that if he did ever get in, then it would have to come to a head. He'd have to have a fair hearing.
It's not even just about him though, dude. It's not even just about him. He's just there as the titular figurehead. What we've got are a lot of people who do have genuine concerns. And some of them do just have unfounded concerns. But regardless of anything, what we're finding is a lot of disillusioned, disenfranchised people. And they're growing. And that's why they're moving towards Tommy Robinson. That's why they're moving towards these figures, because no one else is listening. Why do you think such that massive shift? We spoke about this with people that demonise people that voted Trump. And I said, well, you can't do that because maybe they just thought he might listen. They knew Hillary wouldn't. People want to be heard, and that's how this shit works. And the more you think you're above having to deal with the common people, the more you think you don't really have to listen to them, you can just tell them what's best for them, the more you can not care about their problems, their issues, their concerns, their fears, and you don't care, but very, very soon somebody will. And if you don't like that somebody, then it's tough shit, because you created this. Not you personally. Sorry, I've got a cat tap dancing outside my window.
It's true though. It's true. You're totally right. There is that thing. I mean, you know, It's funny actually with the EU elections because pretty much everyone is claiming victory, apart from Labour and Conservatives. I mean, Conservatives wouldn't dream of it right now. They're just going, yeah, we need to change, and they're going to put Boris in charge. And I think Labour are just so just the party of London now that they can't even. The most of them can't even see outside of it. You know, they're going, well, this tells us we definitely need a second referendum. I don't think for a second. I think of all the spin on the numbers and on the data, I think I am sure now.
But it says we're live here, but offline on here. Nation, which has left us in a far worse position. I believe that public transport, utilities, telecoms, the mines, and British Steel should be nationalised because they worked better than they did privatised. Now, that's not a model that might work elsewhere in the world. They just did. And now they don't work as well. It's just the way of it. You know, the corporations haven't panned out for us the way they do in other nations because we're not a massive nation. And to asset strip that you have to satisfy shareholders for massive PLCs hurt us too much. But it looked very good for the Tories in the 80s when they did, you know, the buy your own council house schemes, which totally decimated social housing, which we're still paying for now and suffering for now incredibly. They got rid of our national assets. They just burned it all to give a picture that we're doing really well and there's all this money and we're doing great. And of course it never works forever. So my idea is that we should never have let it go, and if we could ever claw some of it back, I think that would be ideal. Because this half-assed method we got now as well doesn't work. How can we have a privatised transport system that we still have to subsidise the quiet routes?
Yeah.
Why can't the company do well enough to do that? So if we've got to pay for the shit routes, why don't we take the profit off the good routes?
Yeah, that's my issue at the moment. Like, I don't agree with you on the scale of government control over things. I think British Steel, no, there's no. I don't think for a second that should be under government control. I think that's a ridiculous idea. I think that like you're just creating cronyism. You're creating like that you're giving the government reasons to pick them and waste money and all that. Even though I do think that tax money should be spent within country for, you know, if we're going to build a new school, that tax money should be spent on British companies. I believe that. But in terms of British Steel, no, I don't. But I do agree with you.
Do you know why I do think on British Steel? Do you know why I think this is hugely important? Someone just said they can't bail out. It was Mr. Kill. They can't bail them out on principle. Do you know, where was that fucking principle when we bailed out those fucking banks that put nothing back into the country? We're talking about British Steel that should be nationally owned, that provides gainful employment for thousands upon thousands of people who tend to live in the more impoverished areas of the UK. Letting this fail it's a disgrace, because we found billions upon billions upon billions to bail out those fucking arseholes that sold us down the river, but we won't do it for this that actually has value, that could actually bring income in if the government just stopped acting like bellends and just managed something. And do you know what the worst part is? A lot of people in politics have come from business where they've been very successful, but for some reason, as soon as they get into politics, they forget how all that works. Fuck those people and their fucking principles. They have no fucking principles.
Well, what happens if we own British Steel and another company wants to start a steel company? It's in the government's interests to make it harder for them to keep the one that we're invested in open.
Yeah, that sounds lovely, and that's a great theory in a textbook. But in a nation of 60 million people, what's happened to our steel industry? What's happened to it?
Well, it's gone, hasn't it?
Why is it gone?
It's gone because other countries can produce steel cheaper.
So, who the fuck's going to try and open another one here?
So yeah,
for this imaginary monopoly.
Well, okay. So that's the point, though. That's the point, isn't it? So why would we prop up something that isn't profitable with government money? Why would we do that?
But it could be profitable.
Well,
that's the thing. It can be. It's just not, because it's been badly managed like everything else. But the fact is, do you know why we should prop it up? Because it's going to cost us a shit sight more when that goes under. It's going to cost us a lot more.
No, we shouldn't prop it up. People are queuing to invest in that. They're queuing up to buy it. It should go to private investment, and it should be run that way. And if it can't be ran, and if it can't survive, then it needs to go. They need to let it die. It's going to cost us more in the long term. I don't think that we should be pouring money into it. I don't think we should have saved the banks either. I don't agree with that. I think that's ridiculous.
I definitely don't. But at the same time, I think we should own certain industries.
I think there is an argument for us running the trains, perhaps, but the problem is everything under government control just goes up in price. Everything that we take over, everything that we use goes up. There's no efficiencies made. The NHS has just got layers after layers of administrative staff.
Okay, I know where you're going with this, but I've got to jump in here, because if that's the case, and it is, but privatisation changes that, why is our transport system still a fucking disgrace? Because privatisation doesn't seem to change anything. It just takes more money out. Because
we keep putting fucking money into it. That's why. Because if I get on a train, I don't have a choice of what train I want to get onto. The only thing when actual fucking government got out the way was the mega buses. When some dude just bought a load of shitty old double deckers and started running £1 routes between cities. That's how it works with private industry. That's how it works when you actually get the fuck out the way and they've built up now. They've got decent coaches. It's a good ride.
And yet, I remember GM buses as a youngster. I've got about 10 years on the so not hugely different, I expect. But they were doing all right. Remember, they weren't privatised because they were struggling. It was just a rush towards privatisation across our entire system. They weren't struggling any more than British Telecom was struggling, any more than British Rail was really struggling. In fact, they struggled far less than privatised. So a lot of it is bullshit. A lot of it is bullshit. They were never perfect. A lot of our government-run industries were shocking. Okay, there's no getting past that. But I don't see any genuine improvements. I mean, when I was a kid, you get on the bus, they were still making money, even allowing for inflation and everything else, or deflation, I guess. They were very low cost. The profits were still made. Everyone got paid. But privatisation became something we wanted to do rather than had to do. Now, taking it back, I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it. I don't think we'd have the money to do it now. But the damage was done many years ago, so we've just got to ride it out. And the partial privatisation of the NHS hasn't helped, because it doesn't seem like the parts that are privatised are running particularly any better than the parts that aren't. We're in this shitty halfway house, but if we go all the way over to privatisation, in the best traditions of privatising British things, it'll be shit.
Yeah, because we'll keep one finger in it, because the government will be so up its arse that it'll be incapable of running properly. As it does, but that's the thing, it doesn't fucking run properly now. Even when it's funded properly, it doesn't run well. No. It doesn't. It runs like a big piece of shit. Because there's zero incentive there whatsoever.
Well, it's like if you speak to people from the NHS, from 20, 30 years ago, the reason they say it worked better then was because there was a lot less management. Doctors ran it. They knew what it was cost, and they ran it.
That's what we need. We really need that.
But the other thing is outsourcing all these departments that they say, are for efficiencies. How is it more efficient to pay an agency £13 or £14 and still have all the problems of employment than hiring your own person for, let's say, £11?
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. I bumped into a friend of mine from when I used to do homelessness work, and she was like, "Do you do it?" And I was like, "No," because Manchester City Council were paying about £25 an hour for me. But by the time I got the money, I didn't get that money. That went to an agency, then a payment firm. By the time it hit me, it was closer to minimum wage. And I was like, why the fuck would I do that? Like they're paying more, but the problem is because there is that funding panic, they don't dare take people on. Yeah. That's the issue. It's not necessarily that they're gonna save money or efficiency or anything like that. It's just everyone's so scared to commit to anything at the moment in terms of staff, because these things keep getting closed randomly. You know, like at the hospitals, they're looking right now at huge payouts for people as they do close all these departments, like massive big redundancy payouts, and that's what they're scared of. You know, but ultimately it just fucks off the person at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. The NHS cuts are hitting. Like, we're desperate for nurses. We're desperate for the lower level staff. But the people on 100, 200 grand a year, they're fine.
Not just the NHS, though. The police force. The criminal justice system in our country is collapsing. It's actually collapsing. They're shutting down courts. As we said on a previous show, crime statistics are going up. Court appearances are going down. We're in a really bad way in this country. A lot of it's because of this austerity, which is, if you really do some reading on that, I'm no expert, but when reading into it, it actually increases public debt austerity. Because of the long-term knock-on effects. It's a really poor idea. That's why Japan gave it up, and when they gave it up, they rose. So we're just destroying everything.
It's not even just austerity. Austerity's there, but it's the Tories. You know, like fucking May's husband runs G4S, doesn't he?
Yes.
And they're getting out. They're running prisons now.
I can't tolerate that. I can't tolerate that. That's disgraceful.
Yeah. But this is why the government shouldn't be running fucking things like British Steel.
No, the government should. Because we need to fix the government.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Because the worst... Someone like Theresa May is always eventually going to get into power, and they will then hand it over to their boyfriend's business, and it'll run it into the ground and affect...
Must there have to be laws, proper laws about lobbying, proper transparency, which we only get after a massive scandal. Look at the expenses. It took so much to even get that looked at. No, you can't fix all these outlying problems because it's not going to work. You've got to fix the main problem, and I don't know how you fix government. If I knew that,
so more regulation, more laws that's just gonna fuck off. You know, fuck off the little guy, fuck off small businesses even more.
I've just talked about regulating government.
Well,
not anybody else.
Government in what respect?
Lobbying laws.
They're always going to sidestep it, though. Always. What are they going to do? They're going to vote.
So we shouldn't try.
But try for what? What's the goal?
We need to kill lobbying. We need to look at competition rules more stringently. We need to hold people more accountable. But we don't, because our system, the British system of governance, is shockingly antiquated. It's painful to behold. They're more concerned with pomp and ceremony than they are with getting anything done. Look at the situation we're in this country. We just got rid of possibly the worst Prime Minister we've ever had.
Yeah. In
terms of achievements. The opposition is dreadful. Just dreadful. Labour Party's fucked right now. Look who they've got. Jeremy Corbyn, Diane Abbott. You know, there's no credible governance in this country. So yeah, we do need to change things. I do want more regulation on government, but we've got the House of Lords to contend with as well. I'm still not sure how we've kept them fucking dreadful old coughing dodgers on the go, and giving all the archbishops from the church all the front seats in the House of Lords as well. Get them right the fuck out of there and all. Just clear that shit out. Make everyone elected.
See, I don't agree in terms of because I don't see any way on earth to actually regulate the government in that way, because our government, and it's not just our government, it is human nature across the entire planet, across all of history, that, you know, power corrupts. You need to devolve that shit. You need to get it away from Parliament. If they don't have the power,
so who do we give it to? Private companies?
No, you give it as local as humanly possible.
I'm with you there.
If there's a prison in your area, then it's you know, the local council should be the one that's regulating it in terms of it being fair, in terms of it being funded. It's not like, oh, there's going to be some magic rule that will stop like ministers and stuff making themselves rich by being in power. The only way to do that is to take away their power. Now,
I'm actually with you on this. I'm totally with more power going to over here. It would be the counties. A devolution of sorts. I'm with you 100%. It's one of the things I spoke many years ago, possibly with drone tech, when we were talking about, you know, healthcare in the US, and I said it's so vast. I could only ever imagine it working on a local level. I don't see how you could have a federal government over 300 million diverse people.
Yeah.
Making. I don't see how that could work. In Britain, it's less of an issue. However, the diversity between counties on this tiny island is huge.
There's still 70 million of us, though. We've still got maybe what, 1/4, 1/3 the US population. It's not like it's not like there's such a disparity in terms of how we're centralized, like we're just one state. But and I think we'd be better with more of a state thing. I mean, obviously stuff has devolved to Scotland and Wales a little bit, and good.
What would it
Scotland,
be in the ideal? It would be that central government is there for defence.
Yeah. Well, the same as America. It's actually really hard for the federal government to bring in overall federal rules. It's a really difficult thing for them to do. It's no easy thing, and that's what we need. You know, like in terms of, you know, if we are going to take what you said about regulating them, it's by just removing their ability to do almost anything.
There's one problem though.
Prisons. Army, yeah, fair enough. Making sure that the judicial system works, fair enough. Go on, sorry, what?
I love the idea of devolution. I'm with you. I'm with you. But there's one. There's some grit in the Vaseline here. Greater Manchester, let's say.
Yeah.
Have you seen who runs Greater Manchester?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Give them more power terrifies me just as much as giving the central government.
Obviously, there's, you know, if you're talking about who is running Manchester City Council right now, then no, that's a fucking joke. That'd never work. They're a bunch of idiots. But it's because they're not, you know, their only job is to, you know, I mean, they do a lot of stuff, obviously, but it's the fucking bins, innit? Are the bins being picked up?
Don't get me started on the bins, dude.
You know, and they're not. But the thing is, all the fucking tools that live here, like, the bins don't get sorted, and everyone blames the fucking Tories and votes Labour in again. Manchester's phenomenally politically retarded in that respect.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's graffiti everywhere. Never trust a Tory, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's Labour that are fucking things up here. It's Labour that aren't keeping the streets clean.
Well, they pass that on to government funding cuts, don't they? That's how they.
Well, of course, they point the finger to that, but they've got to take some of the fucking responsibility in terms of the phenomenal amount of money that is pouring into this city right now. Like, they do have the ability.
They have very nice wages as well, the guys at the top. If they took... I had to work it out once I was looking at job losses. If one of them lost half his wages, that could employ 6 people full-time. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of jobs right there.
No, they do well. They do well. But if they had the responsibility... I think they do. I think they could do better. There's more cranes, you know, construction site cranes in Manchester right now than there are in LA.
Yeah, but they're all owned by the Chinese, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's still bringing people. It's still bringing business. It's still bringing trade. Who gives a fuck who owns them? It doesn't matter who owns them. Well, I don't want Manchester City Council to own them.
Well, there's something there you won't like then.
Go on.
The regeneration of Collyhurst that's coming up. They're going to build several thousand new homes, lower cost homes. And this Chinese company's partially investing. Part of the deal is they're going to create 150 to 250 social houses. Social housing as well. Now, to me, that's a great thing. Because I know people are struggling really hard with private rents right now. And some people are just in really bad ways. We're finding a balance between governance and the commercial sector, slowly but surely, but ironically on a local level. So that kind of pays into everything, you know, just like devolution sounds great. This is where it works. You have that mixture of governance and private sector. It'd be interesting to see if they actually get it right this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, look what happened with bloody thingy. What's it called? The building company that went bust.
Carillion.
Carillion, yeah, that was heavily propped up by the government, wasn't it?
Well,
That's the problem.
indirectly as well, by giving them contracts they could never hope to fulfill.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. As they ran out of money, they just kept giving him more and more contracts. 30 million, 40 million, all that, just to keep pumping it through and pumping it in. And but again, it went bust, and I'm glad it did. It should have gone bust a lot sooner than it did. The same goes with everything. They should have let the banks fail. This too big to fail bullshit that we've been running since the 80s is nonsense.
Of course, it's nonsense.
Fucking nonsense.
Iceland didn't give a shit, did they?
No, just let them fucking fail.
Iceland just banged them in prison.
Because you know what? All the people low down still lost their money. It's not like anyone didn't. All the little people still got fucked. They weren't protecting the little guy. They were protecting the people at the top. So again, but you're always going to have corruption. So I prefer it if it was more local. I prefer it if I was local, voting for my councillor and it really meant something beyond, virtue signalling about graffiti and homelessness.
Oh, that was Andy Burnham, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. He's been useless on it. He made a load of bullshit promises that he was never, ever going to keep up to. No.
Was it he wanted to give every homeless person a house?
Yeah. He was the same with it. He got involved with the transport as well. Do you remember that? My Get Me There card. It was like my Get Me There card, and it was like a blip thing. But all the other buses had just got on their own things going on and everything. It was just fucking stupid. It was like what a waste of space that man is.
It did not pan out, did it? It did not. Nothing he does pans out. We didn't want a Lord Mayor that was elected. We didn't want one. In fact, we voted against that in a referendum. Manchester said we don't want one, and lo and behold, we got one.
Referendums don't mean anything here, do they? They said it as well for... I remember when I was backpacking and my brother messaged me to ask me about... Apparently there was some sort of vote here about doing a tax for the city centre, a car tax.
Oh, gosh, yeah, the congestion charge.
Congestion charge, that's what they called it, yeah. And, which, I'll go into other things on that in a minute, but one of the arguments given was that they were going to turn Oxford Road into like a green bus lane on the back of it, and it's like, but they've done it anyway. It's like they're such lying pieces of shit that they were just holding up a plan they already had and going, well, it'll mean we can fund this, and it's like, well, all you did was just close the road whilst the sun's up. And it's a green bus lane. There's no cars on it anymore. You've not fucking done anything. Ridiculous, absolutely.
It was absolutely shocking. That whole thing. I remember that. I worked it out that if I wanted where I lived at the time, if I travelled to the local supermarket, as was my wont, I would have to pay the congestion charge to go to my supermarket from my house to the supermarket and back. It was only a few hundred yards. Yeah, I would cross the boundary and have to pay a congestion charge.
And what's it doing? What they're going to do with that money, really, honestly? They fuck all. Buy themselves a load of new iPads. Here's the thing, man. This is why, this shit is not for the government to sort out. Whilst they're fucking about with congestion charges, Labour are trying to bring in another plane tax. Have you seen this? Oh. A green tax. So your first flight, you don't get charged, but then every flight after that for a year, you get charged more each time. And they're saying it's for the environment, but they brought in the exact same thing in the early 2000s for the same reasons. It was like £14 a flight, and the same reason was given. It was for the environment, and it's like, well, it's just fucking bullshit. They fucking lie. Meanwhile, the private industry is sorting out electric cars, which are actually going to stop the pollution. This is the fucking thing, man. If the government wants to do anything, it needs to give like heavy tax breaks on electric cars, which in California's defense, they did do that. There was like a $7,000 tax break if you bought a Tesla, which is nice.
No, we did have those here as well. I'm pretty sure we did have a very similar thing here, and there still are concessions available should you go into an electric vehicle. I just don't think they're actually realistic yet, not properly. I don't think we're there.
No, but you need the early adopters to get them. You know, the people that want to show off. You could probably sell. You know, I mean, if you say to Tesla, we need a factory built in Britain. We're going to give you every concession under the sun, no tax, blah blah blah. Please come to Britain, because let's face it, it'd be a couple of thousand jobs. It'd replace one of these fucking Honda or something like that. You know, get the Honda factory and say you can live there, you can go there. We will not take any money off you, and not only that, we will give tax breaks to whoever buys one. And yeah, that will benefit the rich, but who gives a fuck? You were directly helping the environment then, and you were reducing the cost of the technology to then put it into people like my hands. You know, like TVs. You know, TVs are the obvious example. You know, the 4K TV comes out, it's £3,000, and then before you know it, you can get one for 250 quid.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen until people spend £3,000 on that one to start with. You know.
Oh no, we're getting there. We're just a long way off with infrastructure and things, but we do need to offer massive concessions to these corporations, and that will make it happen.
I'm feeling all gammony now because I'm like thinking. We could bring Tesla here with zero corporation tax, which would be great because you're giving 2,000 jobs to people who've just lost them or whatever. But I'm getting all gammony. I don't even have a genuine reason for this, but I'm like, the EU probably wouldn't allow it though, would they? They wouldn't allow it. Which is true, they won't. There's all the fair play. And
yeah, but that's all right because if we get gammony enough, we're out of that bastard soon. So. Yeah,
but there are actually things within the EU that would stop us doing that would stop us doing that kind of deal at the moment. But instead, but charging British Steel 135 million in carbon tax, which has sent them under. Because everyone's reporting on British Steel because it had private equity. You know, they bought it. They also bought one in Europe, and everyone's going, "Oh, it was all this private money that came in," making out like that's in itself evil. But nobody's talking about the fact that the money that's sending them under is 135 million taxes to the EU that they would have got back over the years in other concessions somewhere else because it's some big corrupt ridiculous game. But because of Brexit, the future's unclear, so they're taking the tax, but they can't guarantee that they'll get the money back, so that's why they're going under.
Oh yeah,
it's that fucking ridiculous, man.
It's like, filthy. It's filthy. The whole thing's filthy fucking dirty. There we go. But dude, we're at 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Oh, okay. Really? I've not even done any of my stories yet.
I know, we're coming up to
Sunday anyway.
To midnight we're coming up to here. At the end of this, that play ad button's popped up, so I'm going to press that at the end to see what happens, just see how many people we piss off.
Oh, no. Well, you know, it just... Oh, you're not allowed to encourage people to watch ads.
I'm not encouraging anyone. That's why I said I'll do it at the end.
I was about to say, well, you know, when it finishes and you go get yourself a cig or a wee, there's nothing wrong with leaving the stream on. That's what I'll be doing.
Well, to be honest, we could come back and do a little bit of extra time, couldn't we? If you're up for it.
Well, there's a reason I'm wearing my Trump hat.
I mean, like 25 minutes of extra time. Yeah, does that sound good?
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you, if we put a splash screen on...
Yeah, we'll take a break. But before we do, we've got to do the spiel, dude. We've not done the spiel. We've not done it for an hour and a half. Guys, we're coming up to the end of the podcast. Remember, we are going to go and record extra time after this, and that'll be released a couple of days after this podcast. If you dig the trigger warning thing, and we really hope you do, because we do, and you'd like to help support us, please head to patreon.com/triggerwarningtv. That's patreon.com/triggerwarningtv. You can start donating anything from £1 a month. It all helps, genuinely helps. We're now redeveloping the web platform to make it something you can enjoy, be a part of, and use, and get benefit from. We're doing all that. Also, join us on YouTube every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And if you feel so inclined that you really, really want to have something read out or something addressed, we've got super chats now as well. And that throws another couple of quid into the project. You know, it's always uncomfortable asking for money, but all this stuff costs money. And what we're trying to do is going to keep costing money. We can't rely on ads and things like that. But remember, every Tuesday night at 10:30 PM we record this podcast. Every Thursday we have the big show. And every Sunday, Graeme does TW Sunday at 12 p.m. That's straight after Richie Allen's finished his Sunday View. Do come back and join us again. And if it's your first time listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, keep checking back. Share the links. Let people know what's going on. Be a part of it. We'd really love that. So if you are watching live, stick around. We're going to come back in about 10 minutes. We'll do... Oh, hang on. There we go. We're going to do another 10-minute... we'll have a 10-minute break. We'll come back, do another 20 minutes extra time. Something like that. We'll have a chat about a few different things and hang out with you guys. If everyone that's in that chat room lets everyone know it's not over and we are coming back. So we're going to go now. So if you're listening to the podcast, we'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Graeme.
Bye-bye, Graeme.
There we go. And okay, we're still going out live at the moment because I've just got to I've got to download this podcast and set up the new recording. It's episode 63. Oh, madness! And I've managed to spell episode wrong. How have I done that? Hi guys, if you're still watching live, we'll be back with you in just a moment. We've just got a couple of bits to sort out. 63 Tuesday 2050 save, get that, there we go, and then save my redundancy copy.
I'll be right back then. I'm going to go away.
Yeah, I'll catch you in a bit. I'll see what the ad does. Now you guys can watch me just doing this stuff. Set up a new recording. I'll call this one extra time. There we go. Separate tracks. Pause it. There we are. Ah, this is good. Yeah, we're not going to be in a rush. I'm going to put the hang screen on in a minute. Then we'll go away for 10 minutes. Do let everyone know in the chat, though, because we don't want to let them just walk off on us, and we're going to do a spot of extra time. So I'm going to click play ads, see what that does, and then after that ad break, we'll be on the title screen for a bit. Oh, apparently only some of our viewers will see an ad. Keep on streaming. Well, that's unusual, because if someone sees an ad, that's really bizarre. I don't understand that, because then no one will know. I don't know. I don't even know what that means or what it does. But we'll keep streaming, and we're going to go. We'll be back very soon. 10 minutes, guys. See you in a wee bit. I know my mic isn't hot. It tells me so. We'll be back in just a minute.
Welcome to Trigger Warning Extra Time. It's been ages since we've done this, and I don't know how I managed to convince Hayden. I barely even said anything. It's 10 past midnight on Tuesday evening, and we're still going. We're still going. Hiya, Hayden. You all right?
Oh, top of the world, me, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Someone else told me today that my daughter sounds American, and I've been trying to explain it to them. Like, I don't want her to talk like me. I really don't. Like, I don't want her to. When I watch back little videos of me like helping her learn to ride a bike, and it's me going, "Go on, darling, yeah." I'm just like, oh god, no, I can't pass that on to her. I can't. So I've been trying to teach her more received pronunciation, but the problem is the closest thing to the way I speak well to her is what she sees in cartoons and stuff. So it's just created this weird thing where she just kind of sounds half Manc, half American, and it's all my fault.
Yeah. But I understand you're not wanting her to talk like you.
Well, yeah, of course not. It's a disadvantage. I know it is. It's like, you know, it's always that thing, isn't it? Of like, you know, you talk about privilege and all that bullshit, and like, oh, you know, but rather than complaining and shaming and trying to change the world around me, which you can do bit by bit, I'm gonna try and provide her with the privilege of not having this dirty mouth.
Well, my lad used to speak really, really well till he started going to school.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that'll balance it out.
When he's at school, he talks like his friends, and when he's at home, he tries to talk sort of more properly. And that's what I've told him. You speak however you want with your friends.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got to say, I didn't say in the last one, gearpress.co.uk. If you want to also help Trigger Warning, but get something for you, hard-earned coin, head over to gearpress.co.uk. There's some Trigger Warning merchandise, and there's more on the way with the launch of the new site as well.
Is Mr. Rape Unicorn t-shirt still going?
Yes, it is.
I love getting pictures of people wearing that.
Trigger Warning is going to have its own store with the new site as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
Get
nice.
in. We'll be seeing Team Graeme coming back very soon as I get some more Photoshop time.
Oh yeah, well I've been sending you so many selfies, haven't I, for Photoshopping?
Oh yeah, I've got choices now. I've got choices.
He'll just get like 20 pictures of me going. It's like, okay, but it's just that, you know, when you do get time to do thumbnails and obviously merch, then it's handy, isn't it?
It certainly is. I could also say, if you're listening to this as a podcast, thank you very much. We do record this live on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning now on YouTube, so you can watch us as well. And one of our viewers right now, we've got a few guys in there, like a Chicken Neffers, Alan, Bob, and several others who are being very quiet. They're still doing quite well considering how long we've been on air.
Yeah, we just buggered off for 10 minutes. We only lost a couple, didn't we?
Bob says, can we get Tom Six back on? Tom has promised that when his schedule allows, he will either come on the show or next time he's in the UK, pop up to the studio. He's promised on several occasions. So we will, when we can make that happen, we will be making that happen.
Yeah, guys, links to everything in the description. If you want to support the show, you want to get involved. Obviously, the social media has been brought into the main site and stuff like that. Once that's live, links to everything will be in the description. Before I carry on, though, A Chicken and Nat Lynch are the heroes of the show because they've sent us a super chat on
and
our
me.
first, yeah, and Hayden that sent one just to insult me. But yeah, they are the heroes of our first ever show since we got monetized. So that's wonderful news. I'm very, very happy about that. Dude, do you remember that GoFundMe to raise money for Trump's wall. Do you remember that when they denied the funding?
Yes.
And they got $22 million, and everyone was taking the piss, and it was all. They've started building the wall.
Well, you've got to once you've done a GoFundMe.
Yeah, no, they've actually done it. They've done wait, it was 21 miles so far. Yeah, no. It's a private barrier that's linking two 21-mile sections, so there's a gap, and they're linking it together. And it's the company is called We the People Will Fund the Wall, and and Steve Bannon is the chairman.
There's a surprise.
I know, yeah, he's drifted in.
Who would have thought it?
But yeah, can you believe it? So far, they've spent $8 million. It's all accounted for. They've spent $8 million building the wall, and you know what? Good for them.
Well, good on them. They've raised the money, do what they do, but they can build all the walls they want. Something else has come to my attention. I only just caught it there. See if I can bring this up. The Equality and Human Rights Commission. Okay, you familiar with them? They've launched a full statutory investigation into the United Kingdom Labour Party following a complaint by the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. So it's a full statutory investigation. Those don't happen without evidence. Now, here's an interesting thing for you. Which other parties in the history of the Equality and Human Rights Commission do you think have had full statutory investigations? Which other parties?
I honestly don't know, and I couldn't even guess.
You're not even going to guess?
No. I'd say, what, the Conservatives?
The Conservatives. Anybody viewing? Got any guesses? This is quite a good one. Which other parties, other than the Labour Party about to have one, have had a full statutory investigation? A chicken knows. There is only one other party that's ever had one, and that is the BNP, the British National Party, headed by the one-eyed bigot himself. So yeah, Labour really have this. Is this like new Labour now?
New Labour, Labour squared.
Yeah,
that's the thing when they're all, and you know, whether you like Farage and UKIP and all that or not, they put so much effort and energy into pointing the fingers at them. Did you see? Oh my God! Did you see that fucking campaign video on Twitter for Labour, where it was like just a normal working class guy talking about how he's walking down the street, talking about how he's interested in working class issues. That's why he likes the Labour Party, and he's like, not like Farage and UKIP and them lot. They're a little bit too on the white side of things, and it's like it was a Labour broadcast just basically saying that they only care about white people, and it's like Labour are the ones that are having all these problems now. You know, it's like I think they protest a little too much. That's probably the best way of putting it.
No, it's scandalous what's happened with Labour. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The original Doc, who's watching, hello, the original Doc, says you should follow Corbyn's brother Piers. He's so fucking hateful, it's hilarious. I've heard him on the Richie Allen show a couple of times saying how, you know, he knows that climate change is bullshit, and he knows about chemtrails and things like that. And I just, do what I normally do in those situations, roll my eyes and start tweeting at Richie Allen to wind him up a bit.
You already know this, but when Richie finished his show today, he phoned me up the second he went off air and just carried on for another 10-15 minutes with the same talking points, the same stuff. You know, Graeme.
Richie lives it. Never doubt. Never doubt for a second. That guy, it's not something he turns on for the cameras.
No, God, no. Every time I've seen him, he's on the phone having the exact same intense conversation that he has on his show.
Oh, when I speak to him, like lately, it's not been as much because we've both been a bit swamped. But usually, it's like there's at least a weekly conversation on the phone that just gets really fucking intense. You know, that's Richie. Just he walks it and talks it. I got to give him that. Even when I disagree and everything else, he lives what he speaks. Not like us. We're just whores. We're whores for the super chat.
Yeah, super chat me, baby. I'll read it out, and it'll be nice. Make me feel like a whore. You know what? You're talking about Labour being investigated. There's another investigation, and it's not directly affecting Labour yet, but the implication so far is quite heavy. In that Plymouth had an extra 3,000 students registered to vote without their consent. The independent Steve Ricketts was surprised that because he was running, he had access to the electoral register, which meant he went and knocked on doors, and it turns out that 3,000 of these students have been registered without their say so. Now, in Plymouth, Labour won by just 13 votes. So these 3,000 students who have been registered, it's quite. You think 3,000 of them get the polling card through, and then your 2,000 of them will just put it in the bin with all the other mail they get. 500 of them might be like, I'm going to do this. You only need 20 of them to get off their ass and go and vote Labour. Which, by the way, the propaganda they were getting through the doors in Plymouth was saying specifically, we are going to erase student fees and erase student debt. That was what they were telling the students that have been illegally registered. So it's all extremely suspicious right now. Let me give you the numbers to break it down. So in 2017, 5,500 people in the Drake ward were registered. 5,500. It went up to 8,500. So this isn't like 200,000 people went to 203. This was like a considerable number, a shocking percentage, an extra 3,000 people, and they won, and they want them to run it again, and I think they should run it again.
I think you're probably right, to be honest with you.
It's not looking good for Labour, which again, the reason I am on about Labour so much is because I genuinely do believe in the core founding principle of empowering workers and empowering the working class, and I really do believe in the concept of trade unions. I do. I don't think they run as I would prefer it right now in this country, but I do, and I think that's why I'm so hard on them, because they've been completely corrupted. It's like we said the other week, they've just been corrupted by, like, they're openly doing shit like this, openly smearing people as racists or fascists and all this nonsense. And it's like, guys, that's the stuff that you're doing. What working class people, what you're supposed to be defending them from. I think that's what it is. There's the hypocrisy of it is tangible and disgusting. It really frustrates me. Original Doc says we should raise the voting age to 40.
That's not a bad idea.
I think that's it's a funny one, isn't it? But again, that's another thing that Labour are going on about now. They're like, oh well, all these old people that voted for Brexit, and it's like, well, yeah, all these people who've when it suits you, they're just old and they're going to die soon. But then when it suits you the other way, it's like, oh, the wisdom of age.
Yes.
70-year-old Jeremy Corbyn has got wisdom and experience. But people that vote against you, well, they'll be dead soon, so they probably shouldn't have the vote anyway.
I think they should only let people, basically me and people I like.
Just you.
Just me and people I like as well. I don't want to be unfair. And that's who I think should be allowed to vote. People I approve of. They should basically check with me.
Just check with you. You'll sort it out.
Check with me.
Like a true socialist.
Oh yeah, I'll sort it out. That's me, socialist through and through.
You'll definitely be benevolent. You won't be like the others. None of it'll go to your head.
No, that's bullshit.
You'll have a throne of skulls.
Yeah, a throne of gold-plated skulls and a chest full of medals. Just medals fucking everywhere for everything, from tying knots to all sorts of things.
You'd probably be my favourite socialist.
Everyone would have to call me Papa.
Yeah, because at least you're starting from there. At least that's your starting place. You're being honest up front. You're not hammering on about it being about equality and all that, which is just an obvious lie.
Yeah, at least it's bullshit.
You should Photoshop yourself onto a throne of golden skulls, and that'll be your campaign material. Make this real.
That's it. Make it happen. You have to call me Papa.
Yeah.
Not Papa Doc, because I don't like that, but Papa Hayden. to give me that warm, comfortable, loving sound.
I'll have to drop Daddy G then, won't I?
No, it's all right. You won't have to worry about that.
My pimp name.
No,
Will I not? Yeah. Don't worry. No one will be using my name to refer to me any longer. I'll just have a number stamped on my arm somewhere.
Not on your arm. Don't be anti-Semitic. Right across there. Just a barcode. In fact, not a barcode. A Q code. You know, the little square Q code that people can use their mobile phones to see what your number is. And that's the way forward.
Traitor branded across my face.
Yeah. I love the way people
knows.
have these concerns about what they'll do when I'm in power. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Papa Hayden will provide. And take away.
You should get fascist printed on the faces of all your enemies, so everyone knows they're the bad ones. And
I mean, things like gun laws in the UK, they would change, because every homeowner would have to have a Kalashnikov by law, an AK-47, and be prepared to use it on the orders of Papa Hayden and his hunter. That's the way forward. That's the way forward.
Do you think we'll ever get gun rights back in this country?
No.
I mean, obviously, right now the law says that anyone can buy a gun. It is there, but it's very difficult and it's a faff, isn't it?
And the type of gun that you can own, and it's incredibly complex. No, I don't see that changing any time in the immediate future. I don't think it's on anyone's... I don't think in this country anyone feels strongly enough. When I say anyone, obviously there are people, I mean, people I know are, but the majority just don't really want them. They don't feel a need for them. If that changes, then perhaps... But most people just don't care for them over here. It's not part it's not part of the culture. No, but then, then I see those tanks riding over people in Venezuela, and part of me does think, oh, cool, because it's that old argument, isn't it? If you could, like, if I wanted to get a gun now, if I decided right now I wanted to go get a gun, it would be an effort, but it would happen. Yeah, but when you say about, you see the things from Venezuela with the tanks running over people and stuff, if you had a gun, you would just be a squashed person with a gun. Well, the government always have bigger guns. But the idea is, though, that it's just it's not a question of saying that the government always has bigger guns. Of course, that's true, but there's also there's the argument of, like, why is only the government allowed to be dangerous? Yeah. That's like. Thing is, though, even without guns, we could overthrow them. The reason I'm asking, and the reason that I was thinking about it today, because they were talking about stop and search, and obviously we've got a big knife crime problem. So the removing of guns hasn't stopped people being attacked and murdered and all the rest of it. But it was the quote of saying, like, well, people would be less likely to carry knives if they thought they were more likely to get caught with it. And it got me thinking, it's like, well, why in this country do we default to the assumption that carrying a knife is strictly a bad thing? I don't know where that came from, because growing up, again, it was a different world. It was a long fucking time ago. Yeah. 40 years ago, I was like 6. But do you know what? We all had knives. They'd sell them at the paper shop, and you'd start off with a very small pen knife, and you'd work your way up on... They used to have cards of them in the paper shop windows, a card with all the different knives on. If you were really lucky, you'd get the big lock knife. And we all had knives, and none of us stabbed each other. But society's kind of shifted to the point where young people with a knife are actually a worry now, because more people are getting stabbed. Yeah. And that's not because of the availability of knives. That's just a bullshit reason. It's a societal problem. It's not knives. Yeah, I agree with you. But that's the thing now. They're saying, to stop knife crime, it's to stop people carrying it. But then I'm thinking, well, that's assuming it is by default wrong to carry a knife. Like, if I'm a law-abiding person, then why shouldn't I be able to carry 100%. A knife? Like, really? Couldn't agree with you more. Say again, sorry, I missed that. I couldn't agree with you more. But that's kind of in the same argument as a gun, isn't it? But again, like, for me, I just think, why is it a bad thing? Surely I should be allowed to carry one.
Like what? Because if something did happen, uh, I, you know, why am I not allowed to have some sort of mechanism to defend myself? You know, it's that weird thing of just completely losing it. Now, I'm not talking about attacking people. I'm just talking strictly self-defense. It seems, and not just that. I mean, I nearly always have some sort of knife on me. I have a pen knife because just the flip one is legal, isn't it? Is it 3 inches or something?
Something along those lines. Yeah, yeah.
You know, just your little Leatherman knife. They're legal. They're fine.
Or a
and
Swiss
that's
Army
fine.
knife.
I can get stuff done, but a big Rambo knife obviously isn't allowed. But again though, but what we are doing, the only people that we are penalising with that law and those laws is good, decent people who aren't going to break. Yeah, bad people are still going to carry knives, and they're still ultimately going to carry guns. You know, like we've got loads of guns in this.
I know
country.
it's all about appearing to do something about the problem, whilst these short-term fixes that can be shown to have a statistical effect over the short term. But that's not the problem that we've got. That's not. I mean, yeah, gun crime you can stop by not having guns, and gun crime in the UK is still incredibly rare. Even when it's at its most prolific, it's intensely rare. Knife crime, you can't take away knives. We use them to eat. I don't want to spread butter on my toast with a fucking spoon. Or, God help me, a spork.
You know what? Pro tip: spoon. The outside of a spoon, not the inside. Way better for doing buttered toast. All the pros do that.
Well,
So you might not.
I don't. I use a knife because I'm a civilized human being.
No, you use a knife because you're ignorant of a better way to do it. But the point of what you said still stands. Your point still remains.
I'll just scrape it out. No, excuse me. Let's get back to the butter.
What?
You've got the back of a spoon, which is round.
Yeah.
How'd you get the butter out in nice curls with the back of? You have to turn your spoon
Why the
round.
fuck do you need a curl? Is this an advert?
You'd have to spoon it out.
You film it and put it on ITV.
Some of us aren't as common as you.
Why the fuck do you need curls of butter?
I will not be mocked for being better than you.
Did you learn to eat from watching the telly then, or what? You don't.
No,
you
I'm
don't...
saying no. Table manners were given to me by my mum, not my dad so much.
No,
not
but
that great.
I'm talking.
So
about
let me finish with your spoon thing before you get busy trying to troll the shit out of me about the fact that I've got standards and you haven't.
Curls.
When you scrape it up with your knife,
Yeah.
okay, you get a good scrape of the butter. It curls over naturally because you've got the right amount of butter, and then that goes on your toast, and I don't have any problems. Don't have any problems. It's fine. But with a spoon, I'd have to turn the spoon round so the bowl would pull out the butter. Then I've got to push it off the spoon onto my toast. Then I have a buttery finger, and we know you can get up to no good with those. Then turn my spoon round and rub it round my bread like some kind of special needs student. When I could just get my knife and put my butter on. I don't have any problems with that.
No, you're not picking up the butter like you're eating soup. You use the outer side of it to bring it up. And the curve and the curl of it actually it's way more efficient, way more control, and it goes onto the bread very, very well, and a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently in terms of getting it round to the edges and all that. It's the whole thing is a dream compared to using a knife.
Well, I don't have a problem using a knife.
If you go into anywhere where they're just making a shitload of sandwiches or a shitload of like breakfasts or anything like that, they will either use a spoon or a curved blade thing,
a palette knife style thing.
Yeah. They're just not. Because it's just so much easier. You just.
Oh yeah, I've seen the big butter. I've seen the big butter.
But don't use the.
I'm not using a spoon to spread butter on my bread because I'm too good for that. I'm too good for that, dude. I'm sorry. I'm just too good for that.
Get your curls.
Yeah, it's the same way I won't use public transport.
Erasmode is saying, "Stop this bullshit talk, mate. This is the show, man. Please don't."
Oh, this is extra time. We can, tell you what, throw some money in Super Chat, give us a topic, and we'll talk about that for a minute. Yeah. But apart from that, we're talking about butter.
Yeah, Super Chats are guaranteed.
Dude,
conversation.
It's 20 to 1 in the morning. We'll talk about whatever the fuck we like. Also, extra
Original
time's
Docker
always
said
been
no,
bullshit.
they'll use a butter knife. It has a name. Yeah, it has a name, but But I mean, Jesus
It's not a
Christ!
spoon, though, is it? You don't have a butter spoon, do you? Hey, expert chef.
Oh, because this country has got such a rich history of fucking food, haven't we? We couldn't possibly have come up with the wrong way to do butter.
Which country has the butter spoon?
What's that?
Which country has a butter spoon, smart ass, telling us about this
I don't
country?
know. I don't know.
Don't you
but
dare
in
run
terms
this
of a
country
butter
down.
Knife. That is an English word, isn't it? And so
No,
if you-
it's
if
a
you're gonna talk about-
description.
If you're
It's
going to
not
talk
a
about the
name.
name of the thing, I don't know what other things call it.
It's
But,
a description. There's no such thing as a butter spoon.
We colonised this world with this
And we gave them a
bullshit
butter knife.
butter knife nonsense.
What do you mean bullshit? It's the butter knife that made this country what it is. That you can sit there deriding it with your frankly foreign and just disgraceful use of a spoon to spread butter on bread. Don't you dare get on your high fucking horse.
Hayden, and I'm not impressed with you tonight.
Tough shit. Suck it up.
You disgust me. Oh shit! I forgot the Labour. Whilst we're kicking Labour, whilst we're down, did you see that about Alistair Campbell's been kicked out for voting Lib Dem?
Yes, Alistair, we must listen to the will of the people, Campbell.
Yeah, he's voted Lib Dem to try and stop Brexit. But then on Twitter, loads of other Labour people have also said, like, in defence of him, like, well, what's the problem? I did too. And there's been one guy going around Twitter searching constantly. He's not just reporting them to Labour for breaking the rules. He's tweeting at them to reply to say, I've just reported you to the Labour HQ that you've broken the rules. I expect you'll be thrown out by the morning and all this shit. And it really is the far left purity tests, isn't it? Did you speak against the party? Did you?
Well, the thing for me with that is Alistair Campbell, obviously, whatever happens to him is fine by me. He's an odious, terrible human being. He's running around saying we must cancel Brexit because hundreds of thousands of people protested against it. We must listen. It's like, you dickhead. 1 million people took to the streets to protest us going into the Iraq war, and you were part of the machine that ignored them. Where were you on TV then saying we need to listen to the will of the people?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of will. Oh my God. The original doc has said,
he's right. He's right.
The point of the butter knife is dual use. You spread the butter, then you cut the sandwich. Are you fucking sick? You cut bread or toast with a butter knife. You have disgusted me.
Well, it's better than using a spoon like you do, dickhead, isn't it?
No,
I can see Graeme there. I can see Graeme there with his spoon trying to cut the fucking bread.
I don't want some like ripped half. You use a sharp knife, a very sharp knife to cut the bread. You don't use a fucking butter. Why? Who uses a blunt knife to do it? The same board that I'm buttering on has got a knife next to it.
Board?
Yeah, a board.
I do it on the plate.
I use a white board because that's the dairy board, which I also dual use for bread. I've used dairy and bread on that. Bread doesn't touch anything but the white board. Who the fuck?
Your daughter is going to have so many fucking hang-ups.
You're all trying to sell me on this bullshit now that I'm supposed to start chopping things with dull, blunt knives. Fuck, no wonder this country's going down the pan.
You're such a fucking spoon. You really are. He's saying that the country's going down the pan. Now, excuse me while I use my butter spoon to butter my bread.
Who the fuck is cutting sandwiches with a butter knife? It's going to be all crushed in the middle.
No, it's not. They cut through bread just fine. How hard and old is the bread in your house?
Oh, God.
Why are you so heavy-handed? Why are you so clumsy?
I'm not so clumsy.
Do you have no fine motor control?
Mr. Kill C1 has just said Gear Press should start selling butter spoons. Mate, let's do it. Let's see if they'll somewhere will do us a branded butter spoon. That'd be awesome.
Oh mate, we couldn't even get the branded those limited edition badges that are sourced.
Yeah.
The company turned around and slapped like ridiculous shipping on, so that's been cancelled.
Yeah. It was like the shipping would cost as much as the pins, didn't it?
Badges. Stop calling it a pin. A pin is merely the device used to attach it to your garment. The
world's changed.
We didn't call badges in the old days safety pins, did we?
Oh,
what do you call it? A shopping cart? Do you? Do you call it yogurt? Do you say herbs? Fuck off. You can just stop that nonsense right now.
Telling me how great it was in the old days, are you?
Yeah, the old days 5 years ago was much
Should we,
better.
should we get off this and just phone each other on our rotary phones, Hayden? And we'll do it, and then we can just tell everyone how it went via paper afterwards.
So we can agree that the mobile telephone was a wonderful invention. It's benefited us a lot. Tell me the benefit for mankind for calling a badge a pin.
Just because it annoys you. That's literally. It's not, I'm not thinking of mankind with this one. I'm thinking specifically for my own personal enjoyment.
A pin is a pin. It's like, you know, this argument on things. We're talking about cars, and I said, "Oh, that's the bonnet," and an American said, "No, it's called the hood." I said, "It's the bonnet," and he said, "It's a hood. Bonnet is a stupid word for it." I had to explain it's the same thing.
Yeah, I get. I used
J-Raw, J-Raw 123 donation.
J-Raw legend. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. England is still a great country.
Well, it won't be for much longer if we get libtards like him using spoons to spread butter on bread and calling badges pins. That shit's got to stop.
Man. But no, when I was in Australia, I was working at this one place, and I used to always go in and ask for the rota. Now, you know, in the north of England, that's an acceptable term. You'd have rota, and he would always angrily correct me with the word roster. Because he didn't understand that different people from different countries have different words for things.
Well, they shouldn't have different words. They should use English like we do.
Yeah, because to me, roster isn't a timetable to show when I'm working necessarily. It's the lineup of a film cast or something, you know, or a sports team. But yeah, it really got on his nerves. I to the point where I'd start saying it really slowly because I knew it was pissing him off. Guy was a cunt anyways. I don't care, you know. Roster. It's a roster. Well, you know what I mean to correct me, don't you, dickhead? So yeah, there we go. Pins.
Oh my dear Lord, Neffers has just sent us a tweet, and it does indeed have a butter spoon. It's from 1863. Guess what, Graeme? That's the last time anybody ever used a butter spoon.
Oh, so I'm more. Oh, did you add it?
Although,
trigger warning?
Yes, they did used to have those sporks for butter, didn't they? The original sporks, which were for pulling up the curls of butter. And we don't see much of them now because most people use a fucking knife.
Because most people are stupid because they've learned how to eat by watching the telly. The 1863, is it? Yeah. 1863.
And do you know what most people? Do you know what most people using to butter the bread back then?
You mean you common people? What did common people do, Hayden?
A knife, and I don't think you should.
Did they get the little knives? Did they?
I'm not sure you should be calling me common.
Whilst people that know what they're doing used a butter spoon.
What, Mister? I have a dairy board in my house. You've got like obsessive compulsive disorder, dude.
I'm not going to apologise for having good kitchen hygiene.
You're both common and low-grade mental.
It's not an obsession. It's just
basic
food hygiene.
It's not an obsession.
I have a board for raw meat. I have a board for vegetables. I have a green board for salad. I have a yellow board for cooked meat. This isn't hard. This isn't some like random thing that I've made up. This is like But fuck you. Wait. Yeah.
Shall I turn the stream off before he gets? Oh God!
It's not hard, right? And I got this when my daughter was born because the missus kept using the same wooden board for everything. So I bought all the several boards. Look, raw meat, raw fish, cooked meats, salad and fruits, vegetables and dairy. It's not hard.
You know, Alan's right. You're such a soy boy. You're such a soy boy.
I just don't want food poisoning. I don't want my lettuce to have raw meat on it. You have these areas.
I don't eat lettuce.
I worked in kitchens for years, man. I can't just forget the proper way of doing things, can I?
Well, clearly you have, because you use a spoon to butter your fucking bread. So you've forgotten the proper way of doing things.
George Sangster of Aberdeen and also Assad in Edinburgh, 1863. Yeah. Mary Cook's Antiques.
How long did that last?
There we go. I wish I could see the price on that, but either way, precious it is. Precious.
Precious.
Very rare.
For fucking idiots that have a sign in their own kitchen to tell people what board to use.
It came with the boards.
Throw it away.
It came with what? Just throw. Just.
What
why?
possible value does that have? Can you not remember?
Because.
If you didn't have that in your kitchen, would you not remember which board to use?
But it's not for me. I know. I don't look at that. I don't have to check it.
So
it's
when your
people.
missus watches this back, she gets to see that you're telling her she's too stupid to figure out which board to use, and that the skies will fall and the seas will turn to blood.
No, not too stupid. She just doesn't care.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because there's no need to.
Cross-contamination kills, Hayden.
Not many people, mate.
It's well, I'm not going to take the risk, am I? I'm not going to, you know. Not many people stab themselves in the throat. I'm not just going to leave knives everywhere, am I? I do that actually, but
yeah, but never let it be said you've allowed cross-contamination.
Well, they're not cross-contaminated. Yeah, if that knife is next to if it's next to the brown board, then it doesn't have any meat on it.
Low-key mental. Low-key fucking mental.
You don't.
I don't have a butter spoon.
No, you don't.
And yet I've not died.
Common. No, you've not died. You're just common.
Yeah, I'm common. We can tell that by the way we speak.
just the fact that you put on an accent isn't mine.
I'm only slightly mank. You're a fucking scally. So let's not get into this.
I know.
So there we go. Graham's fucking... What a proper tin pot little Hitler you are in the house, you.
I am a kitchen Nazi. I've never... Look, have I ever told you anything but that? I am. This shit has to be right in there.
I mean, let me say, you say it's not an obsession with you. How do you feel about a sponge left in the sink?
You don't leave sponges in the... Are you fucking insane? You might as well just grow a little bacteria farm down there and be like, hey, and then suck on that shit.
I don't leave sponges in the sink. I just enjoy your reaction to it every time.
Someone fucking does down at the fucking studio, though.
That's not me. Have you never noticed I don't eat there or drink there?
They put the... Yeah, but I need coffee to survive, man. It's like, but they put the sponge in the little cup bit of the drainer with the spoons in it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you put the dirty sponge in with a teaspoon? Someone might eat a yogurt with that.
Good. Good. I don't fucking care. A Chicken says, what are your thoughts on mushrooms, Hayden? Delicious with a fried breakfast. Oh, I do like mushrooms. How do you feel about mushrooms going? Because you know the fungus.
I hated them for years, you know, and it wasn't until I actually worked in a kitchen that I learned to love them. You know, I tried them different ways, and I'll eat them pretty much any which way now.
What kind of spoon do you use for mushrooms, Graeme?
Depends how I'm cooking them, doesn't it? I quite like using a metal spoon with the mushrooms to cook them. Well, if I'm cooking just like mushrooms and garlic or something like that on its own, then yeah, small metal spoon, I quite like.
Well, there we go.
There we go. Because I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but it's just good.
Probably best not to, because
keeping it moving.
I don't really do much of the cooking in this house on account of I try, but I'm really not good at it.
I don't either. I don't do most of the cooking. I just stand in the doorway tutting as things have been wrong.
How fucking unbearable.
I know. She's a saint, that woman. She's a fucking saint.
I've said that to her many times on social media and probably in person.
I mean, look at this shit I'm doing now. Look at this that I'm sat here begging for tips.
I'm going to get woken up in 5 hours.
I know, dude. Yeah, we'll finish.
5 hours. Oh, my day. This is what extra time should be, though. Butter spoons.
Butter spoon talk. Yeah, we've not done it.
And Graham's neuroses.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, if you have just joined us, and extra time is literally just us chatting shit because it's 1 in the morning and we're a bit gone.
See, Bob Stew there's wrong. He says baked beans have no place on a fry up. This is why we don't listen to the Irish, Bob, because that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with baked beans with your fry up. It's bloody lovely. I got annoyed when the place I go to for breakfast started putting them in a separate little bowl of their own.
I tell you what I do with the beans as well. I put them on first, so that they've had a good time to heat through, and then just kind of settle and thicken, and that. It's the first thing that goes on the heat when I'm doing a fry up.
I don't care as long as it's all on my plate. I don't care what order it went in on. As long as it's all on my plate and there's lots of it and it's all vaguely warm and doesn't have hairs in it, I'm there.
Put some butter in there as well. Put it on first. Chuck a bit of butter in with it.
Do you use a spoon?
Oh, why the fuck would I use a spoon? You're insane, Hayden.
You seem to use them for all the wrong things, so why not use them for...
I'm not spreading the butter on my beans, am I?
No. I guess you use a fork for that. I am terribly sorry.
I chop a slice of butter on my...
Which colour board? Dairy. What if it's sunflower oil? Sunflower spread. I
don't use sunflower.
No, I don't. But which board would that go on?
Well, yeah, I don't need to chop it, do I?
Yeah, but which board would it go on if it touched it?
Go on a board.
What if it did get on your board?
You don't chop spread.
But what if it did get on your board?
Why would I put it on a board?
I don't know. These things can happen in a kitchen environment.
Why would I put fucking margarine on a fucking board?
I don't know, but I'm going to give Soph a new mission. Stalk SB all over your meat board, your veg board. I want some greasy kitchen surfaces for you to disapprove of.
No, don't. Because she already puts... Oh, she just does so much that I can barely handle in there as it is. Please don't encourage any more.
I'll come round and cook at your place. Don't you worry, you'll have a fucking embolism by the time I'm done.
No, don't, because I really struggle with it, man, because it's got to be hard, because I know how it should be done, you know?
I also use every pot and pan. Even if I'm only making, like, you know, fried egg, everything's got to come out. Everything. And then I'd leave your sponge in the sink. In the frying pan, in the sink.
She fucking does that. I'm not even getting started with that because she's an angel. These minor irritants are not.
You just pop those sponges in the microwave, by the way.
Yeah, some people do that, don't they? Although yeah, I'm not very good with microwaves.
No, not for 10 minutes. Just for a wee. It just kills everything. The steam superheats.
I know, but
James don't stand a chance.
The microwave is pushed to the very corner of our kitchen, and I don't touch it. I hate it.
Look at a chicken there. Leave the sponge covered in grease, bits of food on it. Black. You know where it's been at the frying pan bit. It's nice. So it's all that smells, especially if it's a frying pan that's had onions in. That's always lovely.
But it doesn't rinse off, you know. It doesn't rinse off though.
I don't give a flying fuck.
Right, let me do the things anyway. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats tonight. We've got J Raw, Nat Lynch, A Chicken, and Hayden. Thank you. Guys, check out the description for this or any of our videos. You'll see right there, there's a support us section. You can do a one-off or a recurring PayPal. You can get yourself on merch. We've just been adding loads more there via gearpress.co.uk. You can also join our Patreon if you'd like to give us a little bit of stability and regular income. There's also Streamlabs, which is another way to basically... Streamlabs is just a way to PayPal us, only... the dildo appears. There you go. Although that might be... Streamlabs might be a little bit out the window now. We've got super chats live. There's also the Brave browser. If you follow our affiliate link for Brave browser and use it, which is a stripped back version of Chrome, which you can still use your Chrome plugins for, just by using it, you support the channel. We get sent cryptocurrency. I think we've got $6 so far.
No, £6.
£6?
When I transferred it into Bitcoin...
Amazing.
It went from £5 odd in, because obviously I didn't check it because I have no idea what any of this means. I went back and looked and it's gone up to £6.
Nice. Well, if anyone does have any Bitcoin or any Ethereum, there's links to our wallets there as well. There's also the website Trigger Warning TV, which is down at this exact moment. There is our Telegram as well, if you want to future-proof, if we ever get censored or hidden from somewhere. Telegram is Russian Run, and they love pissing off the West. So we're assuming that that is going to be a guaranteed way for us to get in touch with you in the future. Both me and Hayden have access to it. So please do join our Telegram group. The more of you are there, the better it is for us. You can join our Facebook as well, but there's not much point. But please do follow us on Twitter, Triggered TV. That's Triggered TV. There's also apps to our all sorts of stuff and links to all the various places where you can listen to the audio only version of the podcast. Hayden, they've been asking me about doing Sunday's one as an audio one, but I'm just like, I don't know. What I might do is do it as a separate, do a free Podomatic thing, because I can't imagine there's a lot of people that want to listen to the audio version of just that.
There will be. But
I'm just thinking for space on our thing, because
Sykes, we've started taking them off the bottom end now anyway, because I don't want to upgrade again. We've not got the numbers available, but I don't mind taking some more off the bottom end, because at some point we'll just make them all available on a fucking memory stick or something anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see about that, but it's time as well, because you got to think Sunday I go live 12 till 1, 2 o'clock, but then I then rip and I'm editing clips, and it's basically my entire day. So
whoever wants that could just go YouTube to MP3 on the internets, download one for themselves.
It's going to be easier if you have our full permission to just illegally rip the YouTube as an MP3. Just do it. I'm not really, just because I'm already working. I start at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, getting everything prepped and set up. Sometimes I don't finish till 10 p.m. So it's like 12 hours of editing, uploading, scheduling, all the other crap that you have to do. So I'm just nervous of adding another hour to encode audio and all that other stuff. And we'll see though. We'll see. But yeah. If anyone else does want the audio for that, just rip it, just steal it. It's dead easy. Just do YouTube downloader as a Google search, and you can download as an MP3.
I think there's websites that are YouTube to MP3 as well, isn't there? Where you just put the URL in and it just spits it out to you.
Yeah, it takes seconds. In fact, some days, for me to do the clips, I have to use those sites, even though it's our own video and we've got access to the official legit download link. The link it sends me is really, really low resolution. I'm like, oh, okay, great, cool, nice. So I end up having to download it anyway, because YouTube just takes a fucking age and but it is what it is. It's all good.
Fascist pig.
Are we done? I'm going to be so moody tomorrow.
Oh, me too. And I really shouldn't be. So I've got, I can't really say, but I've got a conference call. I don't know what's going to come of it. I'm not going to understand it, but it's with a couple of really interesting people.
Yeah, you've told me, and it's annoying because I can't.
No, and because I still don't know what it's going to be about or what the benefits are. I just said yes because, why not? But yeah, I've got to be up early. I've got to be out of the house for about 8:20. Oh.
See, I'm all wired and out now. I had a coffee before we started, and I've just had a cup of tea. I'm gonna go watch some videos.
Old white man. EDL recruiters. That's fucking brilliant.
I'm starting to suspect that that's Happy Dog.
It wouldn't surprise me. Although, I can't imagine he'd ever be this chilled out.
Well, you know what? He's an Uber troll, isn't he? So maybe it's just his new angle. He's always taking new angles, isn't he? So maybe that's his latest one.
Let's say goodnight, or we're never going to get out of here.
Guys, thank you as always. Thank you for all the support, all the shares. You're all absolutely stunning. Very much appreciated. Me and Hayden phone each other all the time, and we're always overwhelmed and quite giddy about how much support you all give us. So I do appreciate it. I really, really do.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the views, the subs, everything's going up. Even the watch time's going up now. It's everything's going up constantly, relentlessly, and it really gives us we really want to do it. Like earlier when I was saying about like my Sundays, I just spent filming, prepping, and editing. I'm not moaning. I love it. I really, really enjoy doing it, especially when we get we just put one out from Sunday that got like 1,300 views overnight. It was like fucking amazing, So thank you. Really, really appreciated.
Good night, everybody.